Do you remember the excitement you felt when you first saw Indiana Jones with his iconic fedora hat? Holding a leather whip, stepping through deadly traps to search for ancient treasures? In 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first film in the Indiana Jones series, was released and immediately became a global cinema phenomenon, opening a new era for adventure action films. The film was not just entertainment, but a revolution in cinematic storytelling. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas created a mesmerizing adventure world where archaeology meets supernatural mysteries. With over $389 million in worldwide box office revenue and 5 Oscar nominations, Raiders of the Lost Ark succeeded not only commercially, but was also praised by critics. The cast became immortal icons. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones created one of the most beloved film characters of all time. Karen Allen as Marion Ravenwood portrayed a strong woman who wasn't just a victim waiting to be rescued. Freeman as René Belloq created a charismatic villain. And many other faces like Ronald Lacey, Wolf Kahler, John Rhys Davies, Denholm Elliott, each left their unique mark in audiences' hearts. But 44 years have passed since the film's release. Time, the merciless force, has brought ups and downs, changes in each star's life. Some still maintain their glory, continuing to shine on the big screen. Some have found peace in private life. Some have faced cruel trials of fate. And sadly, some have passed away forever, leaving only beautiful memories in fans' hearts. Is life always like an adventure film? Can screen heroes defeat time like they defeat enemies in movies? How are the legendary stars of Raiders of the Lost Ark now? Are their lives after the spotlight still as brilliant as before? Let us travel back in time to 1981, when Hollywood was still the land of pure cinematic dreams. Then step into 2025 to find the answer to the question, what has time done to our legends? First, we cannot fail to mention Harrison Ford, the soul of the film and the one who transformed Indiana Jones from a fictional character into a global cultural icon. When Raiders of the Lost Ark was released, Harrison Ford was 39 years old. At his mature age with an attractive masculine appearance, at 6 feet 1 inch tall, with distinctive angular features and a roguish smile, Ford was the perfect embodiment of a brave explorer. Before Raiders, Ford had already achieved global fame as Han Solo in Star Wars 1977. Proving his versatile acting ability from science fiction to action-adventure, Ford's casting as Indiana Jones is an interesting story. Steven Spielberg initially wanted Tom Selleck, but Selleck had already signed a contract with Magnum P.I. George Lucas, who had worked with Ford on Star Wars, suggested his name. This decision changed both Ford's career and cinema history. At 82 years old, Harrison Ford remains one of Hollywood's most respected stars. His hair has turned white, his face shows signs of time, but his eyes still retain their characteristic sharpness. Ford has demonstrated rare endurance in the entertainment industry. Ford's career after Raiders was a series of consecutive successes. He continued playing Indiana Jones in 3 sequels, with Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008, and most recently, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, 2023, his final time wearing the legendary archaeologist's hat. Besides this, Ford left his mark with Blade Runner, 1982, The Fugitive, 1993, Air Force One, 1997, and recently, his impressive return in Blade Runner 2049-2017. Regarding his personal life, Ford has been through 3 marriages. His current marriage to actress Callista Flockhart since 2010 has brought him peace in his later years. Ford is also famous for his love of flying planes, having experienced some minor aviation accidents, but fortunately escaped unharmed. Next is Karen Allen, who created Marion Ravenwood, one of the strongest and most memorable female characters in adventure cinema history. Completely opposite to the traditional princess, waiting to be rescued image, in 1981, Karen Allen was 30 years old. With natural beauty, golden blonde hair, and lively blue eyes, unlike typical Hollywood actresses of that time, Allen carried the aura of an independent, strong woman, exactly what was needed for Marion's role. Before Raiders, Allen had some notable roles in National Lampoon's Animal House, 1978, where she played an intelligent and charismatic college girl. However, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the real breakthrough in her career. Allen's casting as Marion was not accidental. Spielberg needed an actress who could stand equal to Harrison Ford, not just in acting but in character strength. Marion wasn't a victim, she was a businesswoman, running her own bar in Nepal, able to drink alongside men and defend herself. At 73 years old, Karen Allen still maintains her gentle beauty and characteristic confidence. Her hair has grayed but keeps its familiar style. Her face bears time's marks, but her eyes remain as bright as ever. After Raiders, Allen had a diverse career with many films like Starman, 1984, with Jeff Bridges, Scrooged, 1988, with Bill Murray. However, she also chose to step back from the spotlight to focus on family and another passion, textile arts. Allen established her own company specializing in handmade textiles, expressing her love for traditional crafts. She also spent time teaching at Bard College in New York. In 2008, she returned to Marion's role in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, delighting fans worldwide. Regarding her personal life, Allen married actor Cale Brown in 1988 and has one son. She's known for valuing privacy and living a simple life, away from Hollywood's chaos. If Marion represents strength and courage, then René Belloq in Paul Freeman's performance embodies sophistication and hidden danger, a charismatic and convincing villain. Paul Freeman, born in 1943, was 38 years old when he joined Raiders with the elegant appearance of a European aristocrat. At 5 feet 10 inches tall, with refined features and a deep voice with a charming French accent, Freeman was the perfect choice for a corrupt archaeologist. Before Raiders, Freeman mainly worked in British theatre and television. He was professionally trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts with a solid Shakespeare foundation. The role of René Belloq was Freeman's first opportunity to showcase his talent on the Hollywood big screen. What's interesting about René Belloq is that he wasn't simply a villain. Freeman created a complex character, educated, refined, but also greedy and willing to sell his soul for power. Belloq understood Indiana Jones well. Perhaps he was the dark version of Indy. At 81 years old, Paul Freeman still maintains his characteristic elegance, though his hair has turned completely white and his face bears many marks of time. His eyes remain sharp, his voice still warm and captivating as before. After Raiders, Freeman had a diverse career on both stage and screen. He appeared in many films like The Long Good Friday, 1980, Hot Fuzz, 2007, by Edgar Wright, and recently some independent television projects. However, Freeman is always remembered most for his role as René Belloq. Notably, Freeman chose not to get caught up in Hollywood fame. He returned to England, continuing his theater work, where he felt most comfortable. Freeman married Maggie Scott in 1973 and has 2 children. Family has always been his top priority, and he rarely appears at media events. Freeman has also become a respected drama instructor. Passing knowledge to younger generations of actors, he often shares that participating in Raiders was a wonderful experience. But he doesn't regret choosing theater career over pursuing Hollywood fame. Moving from Belloq's sophisticated danger, we come to a completely different villain image, Arnold Tote, in Ronald Lacey's performance. Embodying cold cruelty, Ronald Lacey, born in 1935, was 46 years old when he joined Raiders with an appearance particularly suitable for a Gestapo agent role. Not quite 5 feet 7 inches tall, with a gaunt face and distinctive glasses, Lacey created an image both weak and terrifying, exactly what the character Tote needed. Before Raiders, Lacey had nearly 2 decades of acting experience. Mainly on British television, he was known for his ability to portray complex characters, often villains or people with psychological problems. Arnold Tote's role was created as an embodiment of Nazi regime, evil. Lacey created a character frightening not through physical strength, but through psychological cruelty. The scene where Tote tortures Marion by threatening with a red-hot iron rod became one of the film's most terrifying moments. Unfortunately, Ronald Lacey passed away in 1991 at age 55 from heart disease. Only 10 years after Raiders was released, Lacey's early death was a great loss for British cinema. In his final years, Lacey continued acting with small roles in some films like Firefox, 1982, with Clint Eastwood. However, his health had begun declining due to congenital heart disease. Lacey is remembered as a professional actor, always dedicated to his craft. His colleagues often said that in real life, Lacey was very humorous and kind, completely opposite to the cruel characters he usually portrayed. Lacey's acting career may not have been long, but the role of Arnold Tote ensured his name would forever be remembered in cinema history. This is proof of an actor's talent to create a strong impression with just one memorable role. From psychological cruelty, we move to another image of fascism, military coldness, in Colonel Dietrich, portrayed by Wolf Kahler. Wolf Kahler, born in 1940 inches, Germany. That was 41 years old when he joined Raiders with the appearance of an authoritative, mature man at 6 feet 1 inch tall, with angular features, blonde hair, and cold blue eyes. Kahler had everything needed to portray a German army officer. Before Raiders, Kahler had acting experience on European stage and television. Being German-born added authenticity to Colonel Dietrich's character. Dietrich in Raiders wasn't just a simple military officer, but a symbol of the Nazi war machine. Kahler created a cold, disciplined character, dangerous through organization and efficiency rather than personal brutality. At 84 years old, Wolf Kahler is still alive and has become one of Europe's respected veteran actors. His hair has turned completely white. His face bears time's marks, but his posture remains straight and dignified. After Raiders, Kahler continued a stable acting career with various roles. He appeared in Firefox, 1982, The Dirty Dozen, The Deadly Mission, 1987, and many European television films. However, Kahler was always careful in role selection, avoiding being typecast as specializing in Nazi characters. Interestingly, Kahler spent much of his later time teaching, acting, and directing theater. He became a respected professor at art schools in Germany and Austria. Regarding personal life, Kahler married and had children, living a quite private life. He rarely appears at Hollywood events, but occasionally participates in Raiders of the Lost Ark fan meetings when invited, moving from the cold image of villain characters. We come to warmth and humor in Sallah, portrayed by John Rhys Davies, the proof that not all faces in Raiders were frightening. John Rhys Davies, born in 1944 inches, Wales, was 37 years old when he joined Raiders with his characteristic large build. At 6 feet 1 inch tall, full-bodied, with a round face and distinctive beard, Rhys Davies carried the aura of a gentle and trustworthy Middle Eastern man. Before Raiders, Rhys Davies had solid Shakespeare theater experience and some television roles. His deep voice with distinctive Welsh accent created unique appeal for Salah's character. Sallah in Raiders was an important character, Indiana Jones's local friend in Egypt. Rhys Davies created a character both humorous and trustworthy, showing genuine friendship and loyalty. The scene where Sallah sings a traditional song while helping Indy excavate the Ark became a memorable moment of the film. At 80 years old, John Rhys Davies maintains good health and continues acting. His hair and beard have turned completely white. His body somewhat thinner than in youth, but his voice remains warm and his eyes still bright as ever. After Raiders, Rhys Davies had a diverse and successful career. He continued portraying Sallah in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989. However, the role that brought him global fame was Gimli in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, 2001 to 2003, by Peter Jackson. Playing Gimli proved Rhys Davies' diverse acting talent. Despite having to play a dwarf while being the tallest in the cast, he created a lively and humorous Gimli. He also voiced this character, creating a distinctive, unmistakable voice. Regarding personal life, Rhys Davies has been through 2 marriages and has 2 children. He's known for having clear political views and often sharing personal opinions on social issues. This sometimes causes controversy, but also shows his straightforward character. If Sallah represents friendship in foreign lands, then Marcus Brody in Denholm Elliott's performance brings the image of teacher, friend at home, a character full of humanity amid the dangerous adventure world. Denholm Elliott, born in 1922, was 59 years old when he joined Raiders with the appearance of a typical scholarly gentleman. Not tall, 5 feet 8 inches, with a kind face and warm eyes behind glasses, Elliott completely fit the role of a museum director and scholar. Elliott had a long acting career with over 120 films and television programs. He was trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts with a solid theater foundation before Raiders. He was known through many small but impressive roles. Marcus Brody in Raiders didn't have much screen time, but was important in creating emotional depth for Indiana Jones. Elliott created a character who was teacher, friend, and spiritual father figure to Indy. Denholm Elliott passed away on October 6, 1992. At age 70 from AIDS-related complications, Elliott's departure was a great loss for British and international cinema. After Raiders, Elliott continued a successful career with Marcus Brody's role in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989, where his character had more screen time and showed the lovable, brightest character had more screen time. Somewhat absent-minded personality of a scholar, he also appeared in Trading Places, 1983, and A Room with a View, 1985. The latter earning him a BAFTA nomination. Elliott was remembered by colleagues and friends as an elegant, intelligent man with a kind heart. He married Susan Robinson in 1962 and had 2 children. Family was always the center of his life. Despite his busy acting career, In his final years, Elliot faced illness but continued working. His career was proof of the talent and dedication of a true actor. From Marcus Brody's gentle image, we move to a character who appeared briefly but left a strong impression, Setipo in Alfred Molina's performance, who opened the film with an expensive lesson about betrayal. Alfred Molina, born in 1953 London to a Spanish father and Italian mother, was only 28 years old when he joined Raiders. A young, ambitious actor, at 6 feet 3 inches tall with a large build, handsome face with distinctive Latin features, Molina completely fit the role of a South American guide. Raiders of the Lost Ark was actually Molina's first film role, a golden opportunity to showcase his talent to global audiences. Previously, he mainly worked in London theatre and had some small television roles. Setipo's character appeared only in the first 15 minutes, but created one of the most classic moments, the scene where Setipo betrays Indiana Jones to steal the golden idol, then gets killed by the very traps he thought he had avoided. To become an icon for the story of good and evil have consequences. At 71 years old, Alfred Molina has become one of Hollywood's most respected character actors. His hair has turned completely white. His face bears strong time marks, but his eyes remain sharp and emotional as ever. After Raiders, Molina had an amazing career with over 200 film, television, and theater works. He became widely known as Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 22004 and recently Spider-Man No Way Home 2021, proving his enduring appeal across decades. Molina also showed diverse talent through roles in Boogie Nights 1997, Magnolia 1999, Frida 2002, and An Education 2009. He received BAFTA and Emmy nominations multiple times, confirming his position as a talented actor. Regarding personal life, Molina has been married twice and has 2 daughters. He's known as very intellectual. Loving literature and arts, Molina often shares that the role of Setipo in Raiders changed his life, opening Hollywood doors and creating foundation for his brilliant later career. Finally, in the character lineup, we have Anthony Higgins as Major Gobbler, a small character but contributing to completing the picture of the fascist machine in the film, showing Spielberg's attention to every detail. Anthony Higgins, born in 1947 England, there was 34 years old when he joined Raiders with the elegant appearance of a European military officer. At 6 feet tall, with refined features and sharp blue eyes, Higgins carried the characteristic British aristocratic aura. Before Raiders, Higgins had theater acting experience and some film roles. He was professionally trained at Birmingham School of Speech and Drama. Major Gobbler's role, though small, showed Higgins's ability to portray complex characters. Gobbler in Raiders represented the intellectual officer class of the German army, educated people serving a dark regime. Higgins created a character both polite and dangerous, showing acting subtlety. At 77 years old, Anthony Higgins continues acting. Though not as frequently as before, his hair has turned completely white. His face bears age marks, but still maintains characteristic elegance. After Raiders, Higgins had a stable career with many diverse roles. He became best known for his leading role in The Draftsman's Contract, 1982, by director Peter Greenaway. An art film highly praised by critics, Higgins also appeared in Young Sherlock Holmes, 1985, Vampire in Brooklyn, 1995, with Eddie Murphy, and recently some independent television projects. He's known as an actor, capable of adapting to many different film genres. Regarding personal life, Higgins married and had children, living a quite private life. He rarely appears at major media events, but occasionally participates in interviews about classic works he's been part of. Interestingly, Higgins always expresses gratitude toward Raiders of the Lost Ark. Despite his role not being large, he often says that being part of such a classic work is an honor of an actor's lifetime. And that is the journey of Raiders of the Lost Ark cast, from the golden days of 1981 to the reality of 2025. 44 years have passed, and time has painted different strokes in each person's life. Harrison Ford remains Hollywood's immortal icon, proving that some stars can truly transcend time. Karen Allen found peace in art and family, showing that happiness doesn't only lie in spotlights. Paul Freeman chose the path of a true artist. Returning to his first love of theater, John Rhys Davies proved diverse talent across generations. From Indiana Jones to Lord of the Rings, Alfred Molina built an admirable career from a small role, becoming one of the finest character actors of our time. But there were also painful losses. Ronald Lacey and Denholm Elliott left too soon, leaving regrets in fans' hearts. They couldn't witness the Indiana Jones series development. I couldn't see the long-term impact of the work they helped create. The magic of Raiders of the Lost Ark lies not only in its captivating adventure story, but in how it created immortal memories. Every face in the film, from main to supporting roles, contributed to creating a cinematic masterpiece. Time may fade beauty, may bring life's ups and downs, may take away those we love, but time cannot erase magical moments on screen, childhood memories, and love for wonderful stories. Harrison Ford may have aged. The fedora hat may not fit as before, but Indiana Jones's spirit, courage, intelligence, and thirst for exploration lives forever in our hearts. And that is the most precious thing Raiders of the Lost Ark has given us. Whether glory has faded or continues, whatever life brings, they remain an indelible part of cinema memory. Because some films don't just entertain, they create legends. And legends, no matter how many years pass, remain legends forever.